It's safe to say that oftentimes we overlook what's behind the food that is in front of us. Fortunately, in this day and age, we're living in a time where people have become more conscious and critical of the food they're eating. With the growing movement of people straying away from animal product consumption, we're naturally beginning to learn more about why people are cutting out this aspect of their diets. For example, did you know some foods can be pretty toxic? Stay tuned, but first, before we begin this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily tips like this, and turn on notifications so you never miss our new videos. Alright, so let's begin to expose some of the poisonous animals, byproducts, and foods with fish and salmon. Filet-O-Fish by director Nicholas Daniels takes a critical look at the fish industry, investigating fish farms and factories all over the world in an extensive initiative towards educating people on the fish they're consuming. Though our perception of fish is rather romanticized when it comes to large-scale food production, it's an entirely different story. According to Dr. Joseph MERCOLA, today's fisheries are faced with a range of severe problems, from overfishing to chemical pollution and genetic mutation from toxic exposures. The producers of the documentary note that through intensive farming and global pollution, the flesh of the fish that we eat has turned into a deadly chemical cocktail. Even so, the fish business continues to boom, merely to protect the image of the modern fisheries from the public. The investigation kicks off in Norway, where they have to look at the chemicals that are used in the fisheries today. A respected Norwegian environmental activist by the name of KURT ODDEKALV believes that the farming of the salmon is a disaster both for the environment and for human health. Among the Norwegian fjords that contain salmon farms and fisheries, there is said to be a layer of waste about 15 meters high, consisting of bacteria, drugs, and pesticides. The seafloor is apparently destroyed, and due to the sea farms being situated in the open water, there's no way to contain the pollution as a result of these farms. Upwards of 2 million salmon can be held in a crowded space, with the crowded conditions leading to disease that spreads rapidly through the stressed salmon. Despite fish always being known as healthy food, ODDEKALV proclaims that today's farmed salmon is one of the most toxic foods in the world. Jerome Ruzin, a toxicology researcher, has confirmed these claims. Having tested a number of different food groups sold in Norway for toxins, he has determined that the farmed salmon contains the greatest amount of toxins among all of them, by an incredibly large margin. It has been concluded that farmed salmon is, in fact, 5 times more toxic than any other food product that was tested. Dr. Anne-Lise Birch-Monsen, a prominent biologist at the University of Bergen, Norway, stated, "I do not recommend pregnant women, children, or young people eat farmed salmon. It is uncertain in both the amount of toxins salmon contain and how these drugs affect children, adolescents, and pregnant women. Eating more than one meal of farm-raised salmon in a month can increase your risk of developing cancer in the future, due to the salmon containing cancer-causing chemicals and high levels of dioxins. Furthermore, farmed salmon is also said to provide your body with higher levels of inflammation, which leads to many diseases, namely cancer, diabetes, arthritis, coronary artery disease, and Alzheimer's. The evidence is conclusive that farmed salmon is essentially both damaging to our bodies and the environment. Despite fish being one of the healthiest foods we can eat, we need to be mindful about choosing the right fish in the industrial age. Documentaries continue to surface with facts and research that have people thinking twice about consuming processed foods and any animal products at all. There are many great alternative fish and food choices that are handled in healthier ways for our consumption, and it's important to stay aware and informed of what you eat and how it got to your plate. Now that we've concluded with salmon and fish, why don't we take a look at a couple more foods that might be poison, or at least a little poisonous. Number 1. Fruit seeds. Did your parents ever tell you not to eat apple seeds? Maybe they told you not to do it because an apple would grow in your belly, but they could have just told you not to do it because what you're eating is pretty poisonous. The same goes for things like cherry pits, peach pits, and apricot pits. The cores and seeds in question contain a type of hydrogen cyanide called prussic acid. Just in case you've never heard of cyanide, it's incredibly poisonous, except for watermelon seeds to have nutrients such as vitamin B, potassium, magnesium, and zinc, which studies have linked with various health benefits. Sorry, we don't mean to confuse you. You should probably go ahead and avoid eating any seeds in general. Number 2. Rhubarb. One of our writers was allowed to come up from their dungeon and speak with us. They told us a story of when they were younger and their back wasn't so hunched over. Their grandma took them right outside and let them eat some rhubarb right from the garden. If you've ever had a grandma with a rhubarb garden, you've probably had a similar experience, so you might be confused as to how rhubarb ended up on our poison list. Well, it's not the red, delicious end you have to worry about, but the leaves. The leaves contain oxalic acid, which can cause kidney stones. Ouch! If you're really trying to poison yourself or someone else, you'll need to consume 11 pounds of leaves for it to be fatal, but eating them will make you seriously ill nevertheless. Number 3. Nutmeg. If you were a child of the 60s or have seen Enter the Void, you're pretty familiar with hallucinogens. You know all of them. Acid, DMT, mushrooms, nutmeg. Wait. What was that last one? Yeah, it's nutmeg. Before we tell you the effects, you should tell your kids not to try this at home. All right. This report comes to us from the Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine, and they tell us that 0.2 ounce of nutmeg could lead to convulsions, and 0.3 ounces could lead to seizures. Eating a whole piece of nutmeg will induce what is called nutmeg psychosis, which comes with an impending sense of doom. Pretty trippy, dude. Number 4. Cashews. If you're eating cashews right now, then you don't have to stop. The ones you buy at the supermarket are likely steamed to remove all of the poisonous chemicals. However, if you ever find cashews in the wild, then you should avoid them. That's because they contain something called urushiol, which is also found in poison ivy. Like poison ivy, or poison oak for that matter, it will cause the same itchy effect. High levels of this chemical can prove fatal, especially if you're allergic. All in all, just stay away from cashews unless they come in a can. Here's a bonus fact. There's a rhyme from The Simpsons to help you stay away from poison ivy. Leaves of 3, let it be. Leaves of 4, eat some more. Number 5. Cassava. Yes, cassava. The woody shrub native to South America, but also grown in Africa and Asia, is actually pretty popular apparently, as it is the 3rd largest source of carbohydrates in the tropics, after rice and maize. In any case, you should do your best to avoid eating the roots and leaves of this plant, because they're pretty rich in cyanide. The best thing you can do is boil the plant to do away with all the cyanide. So, this is a message for the people of Nigeria, the world's largest producer of cassava. Watch out for the leaves and roots when you're making your cassava fufu. Number 6. Potatoes. Don't worry, we're not going to completely kill your love of potatoes, just your love of the leaves, stems, and sprouts. Also, if you like potatoes that have been left out for a while, you're going to have to ditch that love, cause it could mean your life. Apparently, glycocolloids, which are found in nightshade, can be found in the aforementioned parts of the potato, or if it's been left out too long, especially in the light. Eating too much of the poisonous chemical can lead to cramping, diarrhea, confused headaches, or even coma and death. Stay away also from the greenish-looking potatoes. And that's it. What do you think of our list of poisonous foods? Were you surprised at any of the results? Let us know in the comment section below what you thought. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to Bestie. Wait, what kind of Bestie would we be if we didn't tell you about our other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or right video and enjoy.